and welcome to MorningFile. I'm your host, Emma McCarty, and today I'm joined with Baila Lovejoy, the coordinator for MSU Spark at McMaster University. So to start, why don't you just give us a brief explanation of what Spark is?
Yeah, for sure. So Spark is an MSU service that works to ease the transition from high school to university for incoming first-year students. So we do that through the three pillars of our service. So we have our sessions program, which is our mentorship program, and we run one each semester. Students can register and be put in a group of around 15 other first-year students with 2 to 3 upper year team leaders, and they go through weekly sessions with each week having a different theme related back to university. So some of the themes that we're going to be having this year are wellness, academics, or goal setting, are just some of them. And they're fun, like filled with fun activities and engaging activities, kind of to be reflective, but also to help you succeed throughout your university career. We also have our events. So we have different events and workshops this year. We host them all throughout the year, and they're all free for first years with the exception of first year formal. And all our programming is free with the exception of first year formal as well. And then we also have our online resources and campaigns. So on our social media pages, we post different social campaigns and infographics and things like that. So one of the things we've been explaining lately has been what's the difference between a lecture and a tutorial, and different tips like things like that will help first years throughout their year.
Yeah, that's helpful. So just stuff, you wouldn't know unless somebody explained it. So you mentioned kind of one of the events is first year formal. What other types of events do you guys have?
Yeah, so we host kind of different events every year. One of the events that we've held in the past has been an applicants workshop, and we're hoping to kind of either hold that in person in the winter or translate it to an online setting. But essentially, students can come and get resume writing tips from the Student Success Center or get practice with different interview styles and things like that. I went to the event in first year, and it helped me a ton, so highly recommend. We also host first year formal, and we collaborate with first year council every year on that. It's traditionally in November, but we're going to push it this year to second semester and hopefully be able to hold that event in person. It's always a really big hit.
Yeah, so kind of just going off of that, you guys have obviously had to adapt given COVID. What do you think like your first semester is going to look like? How are you doing stuff virtually?
Yeah, so essentially Spark is running the exact same, it'll just be virtually. So we haven't really changed a ton of our programming at all. We'll be still running sessions. Registration is open for that right now. And instead it'll be through a Zoom or Teams call. We haven't fully decided yet, but it'll be through a virtual call instead of meeting in person. And then with events, we'll still be running events and things like that, but they'll all be online.
Okay, great. So obviously people can benefit a lot from these different types of workshops. They can learn to write, you give helpful tips. What would you say are maybe the biggest takeaways for first year students?
I found I was a student in first year that participated in Spark a lot. And one of the biggest takeaways I found was just having upper years to talk to, and answer any questions I had. It could be the smallest thing about like, where's this building on campus? Or how do I access, like, how should I talk to a prof or like things like that? Or what's the best way to study for this class or things like that. I found it was super helpful. I was a first generation student coming into university, so I didn't have a ton of people in my life that I could like answer questions or ask questions to about university. So having those upper years there was super helpful. I think it's also just a really great way to meet students and meet other first years outside of, say, like your faculty or the group that you'd normally see. I found like friends that I still talk to in my session group in first year, or just like a good way to meet new friendly faces on campus that you'll see. Trying to think what else. I also just found like super helpful to gain skills that I still use. One of the biggest sessions we did in first year that sticks out to me was like a communication collaboration session. And I still find myself being like, okay, yes, I remember talking about like this aspect of communication in session, or even like the recipes. Sometimes we'll cook a recipe in session. So I still use like those recipes now. And I think it's just a really great way to make yourself more comfortable in the university environment or on campus, as well as like meet new people and gain the skills to help set you up for success throughout the rest of your undergrad.
Which I think like you could argue is even more important now, given that first semester is online. You need to know those skills because there's no one to ask, or even like you said, meeting friends, like people can't necessarily, or it might be more awkward to just reach out to people virtually. So this really sets you up for that. So I guess kind of just my last question to wrap it up is, where can students who are interested go to sign up?
Yeah, so our registration survey is on the MSU website, I think it's msumcmaster.ca/spark. And then there will be a list of surveys there that you can fill out, and the registration survey will be there. Super easy. It shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, just some questions about like your availability for sessions when we're scheduling them and things like that. If you have any questions about anything, you can email spark@msu.mcmaster.ca. And then we also have our Instagram and our Twitter and our Facebook. So our Facebook is MSU Spark, just with the space in between. And then our Instagram and our Twitter are both MSU_Spark. And we're happy to answer any questions you have there.
That was Baila Lovejoy from the MSU Spark program. To learn more about Spark or to sign up, you can click the link below. As always, you can visit cfmu.ca for more MorningFile videos as well as exciting new content.